We live? Probably. What's going on, Jeromes? We are back. Happy Thursday out there, everyone, everywhere. Daily Jeromes live stream, Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Central-ish time. Thank you very much for coming along. Final one of the week. A lot of things going on with the Vikings. Spielman talked yesterday. Stephen Weatherly is back. We'll get into that. Some good times. I think that there's going to be a lot more moves for the Vikings, and we'll see what happens. We'll keep up to date. Subscribe. Come along on the channel. Thanks a lot for coming along. First up, Jack Sims. Oh, also, we have a lot of fast food questions we put out for that because, why not? Unrelated to football, but I remember seeing somewhere you went to Winona State, correct? What's the best bar in Winona? Well, it was Shides. So in Minnesota, I don't know if that's the rule anymore, but in Winona at the time, bar close was 1 o'clock, and everyone would end up at Shides at like 12:30, and it was known as Shides 30, and it was just... Shides was a gross bar. Let's be honest. It's not a bar anymore. I think like a organic food co-op took over the space. But yeah. Think of all like the the college vices and just everything that goes with being out after midnight. Yeah, everything happened there. But the best bar in Winona, Mulligan's. Mulligan's is a Irish-ish bar, and peanuts on the floor, all that stuff. Yeah, Mulligan's is the best bar in Winona. Well, there's a couple of towny bars that are really good, except I don't want to put them out there because I like them being towny. That's all. Miles, which of the millennial quarterbacks in this year's draft has the highest ceiling? It's tossed between Lance or Wilson. Well, I think it's still Lawrence, but Lawrence is at or near his ceiling. That's how good he is coming in. I think that Trey Lance does have a crazy high ceiling. I think Wilson has a higher. Actually, Trey Lance might have a. I really like Zach Wilson, except I think he might have the most variance in between his ceiling and floor of any quarterback draft. Because if you look at, yes, you always have to take into account if you have a small school player, especially a quarterback. They're playing small schools, but they have small school talent around them. Certainly is a big factor. But, I mean, Wilson's track record against Power 5 schools, it does give me a little bit of cause for pause. Like, I'm not ready to write him off like a lot of people wrote off Josh Allen, myself included at the time. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm starting to have second thoughts about Zach Wilson. I know I shouldn't because, I mean, there's no new information. But... yeah, I do like. See, what's the question again? Highest ceiling, still Wilson. Lance isn't far behind. Evan Casano, how do you feel about Steve Weatherly coming back? Good rotational piece. Yes, would have loved to have him back last year. Certainly didn't work out in Carolina, but he found his role and niche with Patterson in the Zimmer defense, and that's what he's coming back to. He's going to be your third or fourth defensive end. He can play inside. He's not above that. He brings some leadership back to the fold, and I think it's a really smart move. It's like when the Vikings brought back Tom Johnson. Yeah, not so much Shamar Stephen. Madden Mobile. I'm a defensive back in real life, so I watch a lot of DBs film, and my top DB order is Farley, Horn, Surtain. I do give, well, this question comes up later, but I do give JC Horn the slight edge over Surtain. I like Surtain, but if it's close, I'm always going to go with length because then, the rest of their game, if it fills out, if you have a 5'10 cornerback like Surtain, or if you have a 6'2", 6'1", 6'2 cornerback like J.C. Horn with long arms, I'm always going to go with the lengthy guy. I will. But yeah, Farley's in a class by himself, although J.C. Horn is a lot closer to Farley than people think. But I do like Surtain, but yeah, Miles. Funny how Daniil turned into my favorite player while not even playing. Yeah, I said he should have been team MVP in 2020 just to be funny. Next up, Rohit and Apati. How do you feel about signing a free agent guard like Nick Easton after signing Weatherly and then trade back in the first and drafting Trevor Morgan? Those are oddly specific. But I'm okay bringing back Easton. I'm not paying a lot. I'm paying near the league minimum. But I'm more down to clown to go after a guy like Gabe Jackson. I understand he's going to cost you a couple shekels, but go get him. Go get him. And I do like Morig. There was a mock draft that had Morig in the 3rd round. No. Go for audio. Is Jalen Mayfield going to be option 78, and would you play him at tackle or guard? Mayfield's I don't think Mayfield goes 1st round. I think he goes in the top 50. I think his best spot is going to be right tackle. That's where he made his bones at Michigan. Vikings obviously don't have a need at right tackle. And think about tackles that if you always be like, oh, well, we can just push him into guard. Mayfield, I think, would be fine there, but I think you're wasting his talent. It's the right tackle version of Ezra Cleveland, where Mayfield should be a starting right tackle somewhere in this league right away, as opposed to just wasting him at guard. And I don't think he's going to be there at 78. Patrick Harms, Darisaw. Also, Rick has the most professional haircut ever. Yeah, sure. It doesn't compare to the Miami era Spielman. Rick's. Because Rick started going with the comb over, the comb over general manager executive haircut. But back in the man, he had that flat top. He's looking like the mission control guy from Apollo 13. He's looking like Howie Long. Like that's a haircut you can set your watch to. Like that is legit. He should bring that back. Flat top. That's good. Look, I mean, come on. He looked like Chris Spielman. He did. Wonder why that is. Anyway, what's up next? Covered that one. M. Cascanaway, what do you expect for the future of Jordan Brailford? Now we have Daniil Wanham, Fadi Weatherly, and probably someone in the draft. His Brailford time is done. I want him to stick around. I do want him to compete. Maybe he ends up on the practice squad, but being that 5th edge rusher, because he brings a dynamic and element that the Vikings don't necessarily have on the roster currently. They bring that speed rusher. Now, is he going to be an every down guy? I have my doubts. But could you use him as an asset? Absolutely. I would have loved to see him play more in 2020, but it's unfortunate. I think you need to stop talking up Darisaw. Ignoring that. The more mock drafts that come out, the higher experts seem to have him going. With him, Slater and Penny will be gone by 14. Oh, that's that. No, he's a good player. And frankly, I think that his market is adjusting to where it actually should be. I think that too many people were down on him to begin with. I don't really understand why. Cody Sandstrom, what would you think of a possible trade for Trent Brown? No. Trent Brown was the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history when he signed his free agent deal with the Raiders. No, I'm not interested in that contract. I would rather have Reef at $10 million rather than Trent Brown at whatever his number is. So no, absolutely not. Husker, one player you would love the Vikings sign in free agency, and one guy you would love to see the Vikings draft at 14. Well, hell, let's just blow out the offensive line. Gabe Jackson and Christian Darisaw. Or if you want to go both and both, Gabe Jackson and I'll take Barmore at 14. Or if you want to flip it, Shelby Harrison free agency and then Darisaw. Yeah. Let us know where you're watching from. I'll give a couple shout outs. Rohit and Patti, could you rank the next 5 wide receiver prospects after Chase, Smith, Waddle, and Bateman? I don't know if I would put Bateman 4. Even though he ran a sub 4.40, which really helped out his draft stock. I'll put Bateman 5. I'll put Kadarius Toney 4. So 6 on. Go Rondale Moore. I'll go Tutu Atwell. I will go Dwayne Eskridge. I'll go Jalen Darden. Cade Johnson. And then you have a nebulous of Schwartz, Grimes, Shi Smith, Josh Palmer, who I really love. I want Josh Palmer in 6th round, man. Let's get that going. Stevenson from Houston. Throw him in there. There's a lot of good wide receivers in this draft, man. Next up. Madden, what quarterback do you think might exceed expectations and be great, like Herbert last year? Also, what receiver is overhyped in your opinion? For me, it's Bateman. As a Patriots fan, Bateman's. I don't think Bateman's overhyped. I think that I think he greatly benefited in 2019 by having Tyler Johnson opposite of him, and not a large enough sample size in 2020 to be like, what can he really do as a wide receiver one? But I do have my questions. See, who's overhyped? What's receivers overhyped? I think Chase is accurate. I think Waddle's accurate. I think Waddle's accurate. I guess maybe Kadarius Toney, where super talented player, big gadgety, special teams contributor right away. But even though he's my wide receiver 4, does he deserve to be wide receiver 4? Even though that's a bit of a juxtaposition. Quarterback might exceed expectations. Jamie Newman. I like Jamie Newman's leadership, his disposition. I like his arm. You didn't really get to see what he was capable of playing at Wake Forest. I'm going to bet on him more than Kellen Mond. Even though I do like Kellen Mond, I don't love Kellen Mond. Nitro, or hell, no, Ian Book. I've always gone to bat for the undersized, athletic, plucky quarterbacks like Trace McSorley coming out of Penn State, Case Keenum, of course. So yeah, maybe Ian Book, who I think is going to be a backup to start somewhere. Maybe eventually he works his way in through injury or just beats someone out in camp and then eventually is that guy. Nitoro Mix. Sad question. Do you think the Vikings should be in Trent Brown? No. Let's see here. A couple shout outs. Astro Zio, Skull from St. Cloud, what up? Sammy McMullen, Denver. Madden, Connecticut, what up? Casey Cryan, Skull from Big White, BC. Boston College? No, British Columbia representing. Let's see what else here. Purple Rain, Wausau, Wisconsin. Jacob Ward, Skull from Idaho. Potatoes, what up? Oh, yeah, I forgot about St. Brown. Oh, well. Jason Winkle, Green Bay, what's going on? Lucas Stash, New Jersey. So I will put St. Brown probably after Eskridge, before Darden. Mark Sonnenberg, Rhinelander. Nor Tesseract, Panama. Steve Patton, Lakeville. Jans Harald Claudius, Norway. Curly Fry, Ottawa. What's going on? You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. Next up. Pulford Skull. Thoughts on signing Kyle Van Noy? No. Like, there's a reason why the Dolphins are punting him. They don't necessarily need the cap space. So, yeah, I think he's past his sell-by date. If you can get him dirt cheap, maybe. But I'd rather have Todd Davis back. Definitely. MIT03, maybe Weatherly and Afadi's Instagram story did mean something. Well, Daniil's working out with Jaleel Johnson, so hopefully that doesn't mean anything. Mitchell Anderson, do you think Cousins has a 2016 Matt Ryan or 2002 Gannon MVP season, Hardee's or Arby's? Maybe Matt Ryan. I mean, Rich Gannon really came out of nowhere because he was started off as a Viking, then became sort of a journeyman backup. Then all of a sudden he found John Gruden and the Raiders, became NFL MVP. I don't think Cousins has that in him. Just coming on because he's already established. But yeah, a Matt Ryan season with Clint Kubiak, sure. Hardee's or Arby's? I'm going to go Arby's. We got the meats. Arby's, I think, is underrated. Hardee's, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like Hardee's, well, Hardee's and Carl Jr. are the same restaurant. Nah. Mano Giscus, I actually believe Chris Sims, when it comes to valuing quarterbacks, there's no one better than him. I won't go that far, but he's pretty good. He had Herbert over Tua last year. I feel like a lot of people had Herbert over Tua. Had Mahomes and Watson over Trubisky. I feel like a lot of people had Mahomes and Watson over Trubisky. I was also high on Lamar. Most of what he says is true. Yeah, even though he's nailed those guys, even though it wasn't necessarily a hot take to say that Trubisky was overrated, and Tua potentially was overrated, doesn't mean he's necessarily correct about Kellen Mond. That's the one that I'm perk my ears up more than. All right, so yeah, he was in on Trevor, Zach Wilson, but there wasn't necessarily hate on Trevor Lawrence. I think he's just really hyped about Zach Wilson. But I mean, Kellen Mond over Fields and Trey Lance? Nah. But we'll see. Joey Pesic, thoughts on Arby's? I love it, but no one else seems to. Arby's is good. We don't need a ton of fast food, but how can you go wrong with a roast beef sandwich? Come on, we got the meats. William Reed, top 5 day 2 receivers. Well, St. Brown, toss him in there. St. Brown, in no particular order. Sorry, so day 2 after. I don't know. Put Rondale Moore in there. I'll put Tutu. I'll put Eskridge. I'll put Darden. Put Cade Johnson. It's probably it for day 2, right? Yeah. Chris Danny Hansen. Have you done fantasy football? Yes. Would you ever do it at Jerome's Fantasy League? Yeah, there's someone who organizes the Jerome's League every year, and hopefully we'll do that again. Westworld, how bright of a future does Atlanta have under Smith? They got to get him as quarterback of the future because Matt Ryan isn't going to be it long term. But I respect Arthur Smith as a great offensive mind, getting the best out of Ryan Tannehill. And of course, it is kind of easy with Derrick Henry, but reviving the career of Corey Davis, getting something of Khalif Raymond as a nice speedy wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and bring out the best in AJ Brown, who's a beast to begin with, but. Yeah, so I think they're already inclined offensively. So I think they'll have, Calvin Ridley in that A.J. Brown role, the whatever's left of Julio. So, yeah, I think they'll be fine in Atlanta. They got to get a quarterback in the future, though. Travis G. So now that Slick Rick and Kirk is going to be the quarterback in 2021. We know that Rick is a damn liar. Who's actually be under center in week 1? I still think it's a 98% chance it's going to be Kirk Cousins. It is. Also, I love how the Kirk Cousins zealots and supporters are like, see, Rick says he's going to be here. Rick lying all the time. Rick lies so much he doesn't get credit when he tells the truth. If you're on death row and your last meal could only be fast food, what would your meal be? So it sounds stupid, but the McDonald's like breakfast burritos with the sausage and eggs and peppers. That's really good. That was a really good, man. So we'll get those. We'll get potato olays from Taco John's. We'll get the Culver's butter burger, where the largest one is with bacon. And we'll get a Wendy's Frosty. We'll get Arby's Potato Bites, which isn't a menu item anymore, but they should bring them back just for me as I die. We'll do a Popeye's chicken sandwich. I guess that's it. That's a full meal. Isn't it? Or is there something else? Oh, no. In-N-Out double animal style. So we'll have multiple burgers. I don't care. It's my last meal. Going out with a bang. W Vang 0013, $5 in super chat. Waddle, Smith, and Pitts are at 14, and you can't trade back. Who do you take, and who's the best available cheap guard you would like for the team? Well, cheap guard. Well, guard I want right now is Gabe Jackson, but cheap, Posich, Austin Blythe, John Feliciano. Ooh, Feliciano and Gabe Jackson reunite the Raiders, both former Sperano guys. Let's do that. So that's why I would do a guard. Nick Easton, I guess. But Waddle, Smith, and Pitts. I would take Pitts mainly because he's such a mismatch anomaly. And Devontae would be my second choice. I'd go Waddle third. It's all really close, though. But, Kyle Pitts he's just a freak. I need to write that down. We do something about Pitts because we need to talk about that. Next up, DP. Would we have won week 1 and week 2 if JJ played? They would have beaten the Titans. Or is that week 3? Who's week 2? I don't know if they would have beat the Packers week 1. Packers came in and kicked some ass. Colts week 2. Maybe. The Vikings would have had a lot better chance against the Colts week 2. I think they still would have lost the Green Bay game. They definitely would have won the Titans game. if they would have incorporated JJ more. Come on. Miles, which, Joshua Laurie. I don't know much about Jaylen Waddle, but looking at stats, they don't seem impressive. I understand Devontae's primary receiver, but why? Well, if you think about it, Waddle had never been the wide receiver one, where last year he got hurt, but he was the wide receiver one at the beginning of the season, but he didn't get much playing time. And then the year before that, he had Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. So you haven't really seen him, but that straight line speed is unmatched. There's an outside chance that he might break the 40 record, even though there's no official combine. But he is a lot more than that. Like, he's not just Tyreek Hill, where he can only run 9 routes and skinny posts. But Waddle runs a lot fuller a route tree and is just really dynamic at getting separation, really good hands, adds a lot of value in the return game. So, I mean, that's why people are really in on Jaylen Waddle. Miles, which Vikings will take the big? I think Ezra becomes a quality starter. I think Brian O'Neill becomes an all-pro caliber right tackle. After he gets paid, hopefully, so we can keep that cost down. And then, let's see who else. James Lynch, if they play him. Cameron Tiny Dancer. I mean, Cam was already the best rookie cornerback. I think he makes a leap. I think Cam Dantzler makes a Pro Bowl next year. We'll put that out there. Chris Danny Hansen, Herberts and Gerberts or Jimmy Johns. Well, there's more Jimmy Johns, except coming from Winona, Herbs and Gerbs was the post bar place, and getting the Comet candy with beer cheese soup. Yeah, that's still the go-to. So I'll go Herbs. Ryan Topper. Zaven Collins or Joke. I take Zaven because when you see that 6'4" dude with instincts and speed he has. Well, it depends on what you're asking him to do. Because if you get a guy like Usu Koromora, you change your defense. And getting him on the field as much as possible. And maybe you make your base defense a de facto nickel, have him play outside linebacker or slot. Yeah, and you're fine there. But if you want a one-for-one replacement for Anthony Barr, Zaven's your guy. Kevin Ace. The NFL could solve the cap problem by paying players in Bitcoin. Nah. Tutu Atwell or Daz Newsome. I forgot about Daz. God, Daz good. I'll take Tutu. Where I do like Daz, but Tutu, even though he's undersized, Tutu is a tough dude, man. Like, he will fight you for every single inch, every single yard. And I like that attitude where you don't always get that with smaller speed receivers. But Tutu Atwell, he does have a disposition like Steve Smith. Yeah. Miles, chicken or beef flavored ramen noodles? Chicken. Derek Baker, Whataburger or Rousseau? I'll go with Whataburger because it's a known commodity. Go Texas. Texas forever. Rohit, which late round picks last year would contribute on the team next year by getting playing time? Well, Dye might be the third linebacker if Wilson goes. Harrison Hand deserves more run. Metellus might be the starting safety, even if they do draft a rookie high. I think Wilkes will get in the edge mix, and James Lynch, play him wherever. Just play him, please. Would you ever consider Barmore if people like Aziz or Rousseau are still on board? Yes. Nick V, Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's? So two things can be true at once. Chick-fil-A can be really good and overrated at the same time. It's my The Wire theory, where The Wire was a good show, but still massively overrated at the same time. That's Chick-fil-A. Where Chick-fil-A, great sandwich, and good waffle fries and accoutrements. But Raising Cane's, I mean, those chicken fingers are damn good, man. Plus the cane sauce, which is really just mayonnaise, ketchup, and paprika, and some garlic powder. You can make it at home. Go ahead. Stanley Morris. So I'll go Raising Cane's. Stanley Morris. Is it better to keep Reef? Well, here, all right, so we'll get it. So we don't eat a lot of fast food, but when I do eat fast food, it's usually because I'm drunk. So Chick-fil-A is like a normal, taking your kids out for lunch type place. Raising Cane's is drunk food, man. So you're going Raising Cane's. Is it better to keep Reef and roll defense heavy in the draft or overhaul the offensive line in the draft? And I would rather keep Reef and sign a proven commodity on the offensive line and then just go heavy on defense. Yeah. So keep Reef, sign Gabe Jackson or Posich or Blythe or Feliciano or whoever, and then move on with life. Robbie, Said Surratt, I forgot about Sage Surratt. Why is there so many damn good wide receivers in this draft? Who'd you prefer to see the Vikings pick up? Well, in terms of where they're going to go, I think St. Brown probably go day 2. Sage Surratt, fringe day 2 guy. Josh Palmer might go in the 6th round. So in terms of where they're going to be taken, I'll take Josh Palmer. MIT 03. If one current NFL player was the president, who would it be and why? I might pick Stephen Weatherly because the video on him today when he resigned, it reminded me of how smart and wise and worldly Stephen Weatherly is. Of course, coming from Vanderbilt, great academic institution. He's one of the most interesting players that I've ever come across. I think Weatherly would be a really good president. Yeah, and I know the common answer is J.J. Watt or Russell Wilson, but I feel like if you're looking for a genuine politician, which is for sure an oxymoron, I think Weatherly might be that guy. Or, God, who else would be good? I feel like Chris Long, even though he's retired, I think Chris Long would do good things. But with Watt and Russ, the PR scrub is definitely there. Like, there's definitely a public persona facade, and maybe that is beneficial for a politician, but I don't know. Jack Lischide. Do you think Clint Kubiak succeeds at coordinator? Well, he better. We got no options. Mike Vicky, Potato Lace, Taco John's, phenomenal. Even though they're just round tater tots with some chili powder on them. Chili P. Simon McMullen. Kirk, Dalvin, Jefferson, Thielen, Pitts, Irv. Yes. Pulford Skull. Devontae Smith or Mac Jones at 14? Devontae. Disclaimer, you traded Cousins to that. Well, then I guess we're taking Mac Jones. Ryan O'Sullivan, Tony or Bateman? I'll give the slight edge to Tony. Well, also depends on what you want. Like, if you have an established outside the numbers receiver, you're going to take Tony. Or if you... What would be a good spot for Tony? Green Bay would be good. Or Chicago, if they somehow keep Allen Robinson, and then you get Tony and Darnell Mooney as your wide receiver 2 and 3. But if you're looking for a wide receiver 1, I think Bateman has a better chance of that. So Baltimore would be better off taking a guy like Bateman who can play that X or Z outside the numbers. More of a traditional wide receiver, where Tony is going to be the slot guy, the gadget guy. Line him up at running back. Use him like you would Percy Harvin. Also great in the return game. So yeah, it depends what you want. But in a vacuum, I would give the slight nod to Tony. Yeah. Nitro mix. How come you think everyone is sleeping on Darisaw? Most mock the Vikings pass on him and he falls in the 20s and he has no flaws. What? I'll give that. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's no combine yet, and once he destroys and checks all those boxes, I think people will wake up and say, oh yeah. As weird as it might sound, since Penny Sewell opted out of 2020, Darisaw might be more polished than Penny, even though physically, the ceiling on Penny is way, well, I don't know about way higher, but it's higher. But Darisaw day 1 is going to come in and probably be a decent rookie starting left tackle. And what's wrong with that? Matt Myers, if Desmond Ridder has a great year and wins the Heisman, would you like him more or Zach Wilson? Also, Culver's or 5 guys. Culver's over 5 guys all day. I do like 5 guys. I understand the appeal, but give me Culver's. But would I like Desmond Ridder more than Zach Wilson? Yes. Yeah, because Ridder does have the size. He does have... He's basically got everything that you like about Zach Wilson. He's got a whip strong arm. He can make plays off script. And also you have that added mobility with Ridder that, well, you have to a degree with Wilson. But we're talking about, they both have escapability, but Desmond Ridder straight up has Lamar Jackson type, well, not quite there, but 85 cents on the dollar of Lamar Jackson's athletic ability. And if Desmond Ridder does it, I mean, great. Awesome. Yes, I'll be in. Travis, 5 guys or Smash Burger? I haven't had Smash Burger, so I guess by default I'll go Five Guys, even though I just threw Five Guys under the bus. Slater or Darisaw? I'll take Darisaw. Stanley Morris, with Rudy gone, how much more likely is it that Rick drafts a third or fourth round tight end for injury depth and heavy packages? Probably unlikely. It's kind of a thin tight end class, and they do like Brandon Dillon. They do like Hale Henches as a blocking tight end. So, I mean, the Vikings are pretty good, 4 deep at tight end right now. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't draft a tight end. Richard Subulik, unless they get Kyle Pitts in the first round. Can you please explain the Tim Pot Pizza Ranch dictator comment for all of us who live out of market? So Kirk Cousins, when he signed that extension, he basically became a de facto GM and just like, meh. So that's where the Tim Pot dictator part came in. And then he is a spokesperson for Pizza Ranch, so we just combined it. And that's really all it is. It's kind of funny, though. Robbie, Checkers or Sonic? I've never been to Checkers. Sonic's really good. You like the kid likes Sonic because of the drive-in aspect. She's like, oh, it's so cool. Like they bring the food and you put it on your window. So I'll go Sonic. Westworld. Who is the next Saint to be cut due to salary cap? Probably Manny Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders, probably to SMU. Octo Outdoors. Pay or Smith? So Kwity Paye or Devontae Smith? I'll take Devontae. Max Kallenberg. Saw reports that Hunter isn't happy about his contract and demanded to be traded highest paid defensive end. Big news. We'll see about that. I think someone will get done. He won't become the highest paid, but they'll take care of him. Peter Erickson, McDonald's or Wendy's? Well, again, Wendy's is where you take your kids at lunch on a weekend. But McDonald's is drunk food, man. It is. Even though Wendy's Frosties and Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef, plus their bacon is really good. So I would give basically all the food advantages to Wendy's, but you just eat McDonald's more. 3 a.m. drive-through, 24-hour breakfast. You get the breakfast burrito and a McDouble, woo, and a McChicken. Let's go. Michael Merchant-Robles. The Lions are going to make the playoffs. They just got Tyrell Williams, and they got the 7th overall pick. Tyrell Williams is a great signing, man. I've always respected him. I think it's a good hedge against their bets of if they can't re-sign Babytron or Marvin Jones. I really do like Tyrell Williams. You Rage. Vikings get Dakari Simmons. I don't know who that is. Stanley Morris. Folgers or Maxwell House? It's Folgers. McDonald's or BK? McDonald's. Wendy's or Taco Bell? Wendy's. Adebo versus Keith Taylor. Oh. I'll go slightly Keith Taylor, although I haven't done enough Stanford research yet, but I know that people like Adebo. Dickerson versus Jenkins. Dickerson. The answer is always Dickerson. Okay, that's an odd comparison. Casey Cryan, Horn or Surtain? I will take Horn. It's really close. I mean, the gap is closing, and maybe it's a bit of recency bias since I've been doing some more Horn research. But, I mean, Jason, they're both alphas. Like, Surtain might be one of the most entertaining trash talkers. They have a mic'd up video of him, but JC Horn just does it, man. Rob E. Kyle Pitts or Kwity Paye? Kyle Pitts. Jaylen Waddle or Kyle Pitts? Pitts. Kwity Paye or Jaylen Waddle? Waddle. Oh, Jesus. Darisaw, Slater, or AVT. Darisaw, Cleveland, or Kendrick Green. Kendrick Green. Darden, or Tutu. Tutu. God damn it, I forgot about Felton. And I forgot about Amari Rodgers. I will take Felton above those four. Weaver or Ronnie Perkins. Odigizua or Twyman or Onwuzurike. I'll take Onwuzurike. Wilson or Shelvin or Tufele. Well, Shelvin's a different position. I'll take Wilson. Barmore or Basham or Rousseau. Barmore. Carmen or Humphrey or Dickerson. Dickerson's slightly over Creed. Nixon or McNeil. Diablo, Wiggins, or Hufanga. I'll take Wiggins. Williams, St. Just, or Sean Wade. Well, it comes down between Williams and St. Just. Definitely not taking Sean Wade. I'll take St. Just because of the length. Israel or Adebo. I haven't done enough work on Adebo, so by default, I'll just go Israel. Daniel, Keith, Taylor, Stevenson, Terry, or Nico. Depends on what you want. If you want the speed guy, Stevenson. If you want the outside the numbers guy, Nico or Terry. But overall, I'll go Nico. Roche, Shakatoni. I'll go Shakatoni. Mainers or Moore. Mainers. Radins or Cosme. It's getting pretty close. Radins. Cisco. Sheen. Yeah, Cisco. Thong. Britt Browning or Werner. I'll take KJ Britt, even though he's going to go a lot lower than people think. Watkins. I'll take Watkins. I'll take McKitty. Yeah, there you go. The Dark Knight. Who are the 5 best players that you think are going to get cut in the next coming weeks? I think David DeCastro is going to get cut. Let's look up a list. Potential player cuts NFL. Let's see. Potential cap cuts. That's from Mile High Report. SB Nation Broncos. Let's see. Quan. That's already cut. God, Derek Barnett turned out to be booty, didn't he? I'll put Preston Smith in there. Pretty Ricky Wagner. Don't want him. Some Corbett. Marcus Joyner? Wow. Derek Nandi. JJ's already cut. How long ago was this article? Doesn't matter, I guess. Reef. Harrison ain't getting cut. Let's see. Malcolm Butler. Yeah. Sort of makes sense why Butler could get cut. Let's see. Jabril Peppers. That's no big loss. I mean, if they get rid of Danny Shelton, sure. Yeah. I think that there's going to be a ton of really interesting names getting cut. I'll take Estridge over Darden and Qdoba, Chipotle, or Mose. Chipotle, because I've only been to Qdoba once. I've never been to Mose. Very next. All right. That's it. That's the Daily Jerome's live stream for Thursday. Thank you very much for coming along. You guys are the best. Subscribe for daily Vikings take.